Did you know that most of you manipulate others without even realizing? And the most important thing is that it has some consequences. Today, I will be informing you about these consequences and how you may affect others without even realizing. Now, I will be giving you a short example of how easily people can be manipulated. So once, shoppers in a mall were scared by a stranger touching their shoulder from behind. But when they turned around, all they have seen was a little blind man who just wanted to ask for the time. So after this fear and relief experience, a guy came and asked for charity money. And guess what? Those people who have been through that experience were more likely to donate money than those who weren't. One of the most meaningful things I've ever heard was a quotation of Lane. He said that one man with one gun can control 100 men without one. But he also said that manipulation can give you anything you want in life, but only if you can afford it. Manipulation is like a crossroad, but it depends on the manipulator what path he chooses. You see, everybody has the ability to be manipulative, and if fueled with good intent, it can be a blessing. But when used wickedly, it might be the beginning of a calamity. Let us do something unusual. How about putting ourselves in the main character's shoes? If he chooses the bad path and the purpose is destructive, then the chances of him being full of hatred are really high. But like a wise man once said, allow your enemies their space to hate. They will destroy themselves in the process. So even if he accomplishes his goal, the probability of him destroying himself in the process is really high as well. Think about this manipulation thing as a big cage that contains thousands of people. Think about those people feeling bad because they are manipulated. They go home, they feel bad. They go to work, they feel bad. Eventually their friends start feeling bad and so on. This is why, in my opinion, everyone should go to a psychologist as soon as they feel anything but how a normal person should feel. Happy. And this is why, in my opinion, psychological tests should be mandatory to be taken each year by everyone above the age of 15. Surveys showed that the number of people feeling stressed and bad has been highly increasing lately, and one of the main causes is that people feel betrayed and manipulated by their close friends. Now that I've presented you the bad parts of manipulating and being manipulative, I will tell you about the good parts. Remember when I told you about the two paths a manipulator can follow? If he chooses the good one and the purpose is constructive, the results might be a blessing. Think about Luther King Jr. and his I Have a Dream speech. Think about the good that he has done to the 1960s society. That is a good way to manipulate and influence others. Disappointing people in the process happens very often, and if you do not master this art, I do not recommend attempting it. But if you feel like doing so, then follow your guts and try making somebody happy and eventually changing the world. In the end, I will give you some tips on detecting manipulators and how to stop them. Because if you paid attention to what I've said before, being the victim of manipulation is not such a good thing, neither for you or your surroundings. Most manipulative individuals have 4 common characteristics. It is easy for them to find your weaknesses and then use them against you. Through their shrewd maneuvers, making yourself give up something just to serve their self-centered interests happens very often. And if you do not pay attention, they will repeat the violation until you put a stop to the exploitation. But how can you stop this? First, you must know your fundamental human rights. This is not as complicated as it sounds, but living in a society where the number of bullies and the teenagers being bullied is highly increasing, forgetting about your rights is a common thing. Always remember that you have to be treated with respect, you have the right to express your opinion, you have the right to say no without feeling guilty, and you have the right to set your own priorities. The last one is the most important one. Because if you have a line for how you allow others to treat you, and you never allow anybody else to cross that line, the chances of being manipulated go down drastically. Secondly, you should try to avoid self-blame, because this is one of the most used weapons in manipulating others. And at last, put the focus on them by asking probing questions like, does what you want from me sound fair? Or does this seem reasonable to you? These questions are likely to get under their skin and activate their conscience, or at least you will find out if it is worth for you to do what you are asked or not. If you are not pleased with what they say, you must know how to diplomatically but firmly say no. I truly hope that I have helped you raise your awareness about what manipulation can do and its consequences. Thank you.